Hey, Mr. P here with Mr. Dave. We're the
Hey.
Geeky guys. And we're there again, another episode of Ahsoka.
Yes, another review we need to go through today. We've stuck a few out already, and I think the series is progressing quite well so far, I think.
And we will point out there are spoilers. So if you've not seen part 6 called Far, Far Away, then go watch it and then come back.
Yes, good thought there, Mr. P.
Where did we leave our heroes last time?
Well, kind of, obviously General Syndulla and Jason had obviously found Ahsoka and realised that she'd gone off the cliff, but she hadn't died.
True.
Which was good. Obviously, they realised that Baylan Skoll and Shin Hati have gone off with Morgan Elspeth and off to the other end of the universe to find Thrawn.
Well, to be fair, we left it when... No, we didn't. No, we didn't. Ignore me. I'm thinking about this one. Yeah, so that's what happened. And then Ahsoka started to travel inside
the whales, the space whales, star whale, they're called,
to catch up with Sabine and everybody else.
Yeah.
So the whole of this episode, pretty much, there's not a lot of Ahsoka in it. She's pretty much just on the Ghost with
Ho-Young and Syndulla and Jason, everybody. Yeah.
No. Just Ho-Young. The rest stayed
behind. Yes, of course they did. Yeah, to explain themselves.
So she's on her way there now. We'll come back to them two on there in a minute, but you don't really see a lot about that. Cut to Far, Far Away.
Yes.
They should have called that the episode. Oh, they did.
Yeah, they did.
And we get to see what's happened or is happening to Sabine once they get there. Now, we actually get to meet the old Grand Admiral Thrawn himself.
Yeah, Mr. Thrawn himself.
Mr. Thrawn himself.
We see, obviously,
played
Sabine...
expertly, I might add.
Yes. We do
Lars
see...
Mikkelsen.
Lars Mikkelsen, yeah. He's done a very good job as Thrawn, hasn't he? Very good. And obviously we see Sabine on board the ship as a prisoner in handcuffs in a little cell, and she's just kind of hoping that Baylan's going to keep his word and she's not just going to be taken out or stranded somewhere. And
I think if they were going to do that, they would have done that back on the other planet.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we get to the end and we get to find the witches and the sisters.
The witches of Dathmiri. Yeah, it's their homeworld that they go to, Peridea, in the galaxy far, far away. And we have the something mothers, isn't it? Who are like the leaders of like the Dathmiri on the planet.
Yeah.
And so basically they're all working with Thrawn, and they've been working with him while he's been stranded there for the years and years since he was stranded there at the end of Rebels.
Yes. So he's obviously been putting together his trying to escape basically, and used the sisters to do it, to get a message to get away. There's a few interesting points in this episode actually. Before we go any further, which is that Lars Mikkelsen actually voiced his own character counterpart in Star Wars Rebels.
Right. Yeah, which is really good, isn't it? I like when they do that, when they use the same actor that did the voice in the animation to play the character in live action. I think that's always really good. It's always good to see that.
So let's quickly synopsisize the episode, or briefly walk through all of it, because there's a few points I want to go back and talk about. So we get there. We find out that we meet the Grand Admiral, of course, and he's got all his troopers there. We'll come back to that in a minute.
Yeah.
In fact, just before we go any further, in one of the previous reviews, we asked about the headbands.
Yes, I remember that.
And I said I'd go away to our Star Wars expert, Rob, and find out what they were. His answer was, don't know.
Right.
They've never explained it, apparently, in anything. So it's pretty much a guess. It's more like just like a girl would wear a headband,
right?
That kind of thing. He basically suggests, but we don't really. There's no real reason as to why.
I know Mr. Jethro, and he joined us on the last one. That we were talking about like was it something to do with the costume and they had to have it there for a practical reason? Or
well, we thought
like
maybe
that,
it was to hide the prosthetic, basically.
Yeah,
the join on the
the
prosthetic, which it makes sense.
Yeah.
But in reality, why they actually have them, Rob says, there's no real proper answer. There are a few theories knocking about, but nothing that's really mentioned.
Yeah.
And the other things I was going to mention to him, I'd completely forgot when I went there, so I need to write a list and go back.
Right.
So I'll do that.
You'll
I'll do that.
That would be your homework
I'll do that.
between now and the next episode.
We'll get Rob on to do a review of the entire series afterwards, and then we'll ask him. That's all our Star Wars questions.
Yeah, we'll get him to go through all that with us and give us the answers.
So quick synopsis then. They get there, and she's obviously trying to find Ezra Bridger. Yes, and so they let her. They give her a horse dog thing, big dog horse thing. They give her her weapons back and say, off you go find him. And then Thrawn sends Baylan and Shin to go follow her and take them all out, basically.
Yeah.
So the episode is essentially she's trying to find Bridger and they're just trailing her. And at the same time, there's a little bit on the ship where he's preparing to leave.
Yeah.
And he's getting lots of things from the old catacombs up and out the way.
Yeah.
Now, there is something about this episode, and I talked to Rob about this literally just the other day. In fact, I went over to his house. He's our Star Wars expert. He hadn't seen the episode yet, so we watched it that night. So I got to see him watch it live, and I got him to say, oh, I think that's that, I think that's that. We got towards the end, oh, no, that wasn't that, but then he thinks something else. Then he went away a little bit, and then he came back, and he had to think about it, and he's come out with a really good theory. And I've not talked to you about this because I forgot to mention it.
No, you haven't.
So this is going to be interesting. Let's cut a long story short. We said this spoilers. She finds Bridger.
Yeah.
Okay. She finds Bridger. And we're not going into everything that happened in the episode because you can watch it and it's amazing. But she finds Bridger and he's like, oh, it took you long enough to find me. There's a bit of banter. Yeah, and he kind of says, oh, what happened? And she's like, well, we'll talk about that later. Because essentially what I've done is all that work you did, sacrificing yourself, I've just undone it all.
Pretty
but
much.
She's not told him that yet, so we'll see how it goes in the next
that
episode.
might not go down so well when he finds out the truth of all that. But just to go back to, like you said, going back to something we said in the previous review, I mentioned about, there seemed to be some sympathy with Baylan Skoll with the Jedi.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, and it's a shame that so many of them have gone, and and it basically, as we said, it turned out that it was correct that he did grow up in the Jedi Temple, and he was originally trained as a Jedi, but then with Order 66, it's kind of you're either taken out or you go into hiding, or you go to the other side. And he ended up going to the other side, but he's still got that underlying respect for the Jedi Order, hasn't he?
I don't know whether it was at Order 66 that he'd switched or whether it was a little bit before. But he was asked by Shin, do you miss the Jedi?
Yeah.
And his response was, he misses the idea of the Jedi.
Yeah.
But the practicalities of it was that they were flawed.
Yeah.
And they don't really go too much into it, but it's that sentence that there's still that little bit of love for them, or for the idea of the Jedi.
Yeah, he kind of like, he obviously doesn't like the weakness that was shown by the Jedi, and like you said, how aspects of the Order was flawed. But yeah, and as we said, he does end up keeping his word to Sabine, and General Thrawn
He does. But at the same time, he doesn't, because now he's sent out and he's on his way to sort of take them all out.
Yeah.
Now, whether that happens, we'll have to wait till the next episode.
Yeah.
We've only got 2 episodes left.
We have indeed, yeah. There's quite a nice line where Sabine's having a bit of banter with Thrawn, and he's like, "Oh, we can give you Ezra Bridger's last whereabouts, but you may find him, you may find a body." And she's like, "Oh, if you've survived, I'm sure he was absolutely fine."
The beauty, of course, is that she's already met Grand Admiral Thrawn in Rebels.
Yeah.
Which you've just said, he voices his own character. So there is that sort of little reunion. Oh, there's a familiar face sort of thing.
Yeah.
And they're all like, "Oh, Grand Admiral," and she's sort of like, "Stick it, old man."
Yeah, pretty
Which
much.
is quite funny.
You tired, old man.
In true Sabine style.
Yeah. The other thing that we did mention as well in the previous review was about Mandalorian Jedis. And somebody did come back to us on the comments on the last review we posted and said that the original owner of the Darksaber from Mandalorian fame that Mando and
Yes.
Gideon Moffat were fighting over, Tar Vizsla was the original owner of the Darksaber and was like the first Mandalorian Jedi. So
I did say there was one. It was a while ago, and I couldn't remember. But
So,
as soon as you said that, when the comment came, and I was like, "Of course it was."
Yeah. So she's not the first. There is another.
So Rob made an interesting observation during the episode. Now, whether this turns out to be true or not, we don't know. But you've got his second in command.
Yeah.
Which is a stormtrooper with sort of like a gold face. Never really seen that before. I can't remember. Does that character speak? They do, don't they?
Yes, I think so.
Rob made an observation. Now, let's see whether he's right or not. We've got 2 more episodes. He said that's the only person that's alive. All the other stormtroopers are all dead.
Right.
There's a couple of reasons for this. One, none of them ever speak. Nothing to say, yes sir, no sir, move along, roger, roger, anything.
Right.
Right? The other thing is, you'll notice that their outfits are beaten and battered a bit. Now, we know there are rebels on the planet because Sabine's already come into contact with some.
Yeah.
And it looks like Baylan is going to try and make friends with them to try and take the others out. Enemy of your enemy, sort of thing.
Yeah.
You'll notice the stormtroopers, though, they've got a lot of red cloth holding some of their things together.
Yeah.
Now, Rob surmises that it's the sisters, the witches,
right,
and they're sort of zombified them, or they've bewitched them to keep their life force in. So they're all dead.
So they're like death troopers.
Yeah, that's his guess. Now, we don't know this, but that's his guess. And he's saying that Thrawn and his second in command are the only people alive. All the others have died because they've been battling everybody else. Because he mentions they've already suffered bad losses already.
Yeah, when they ask about sending
more troops. And he says, no, that's fine. Because we've already...
2's enough, we've had enough losses. Yeah.
So, who knows? It was an interesting observation.
Yeah, and also the sisters of Dathmiri, we do know that with their powers that they can reanimate the dead. We've seen in canon before, so there's every chance that could be right.
We don't know. I mean, who knows?
We've had clone troopers, dead troopers. Why not?
Yeah, I think we've had in the animated series, we've had something like that as well. But either way, we'll wait and see. Basically, we leave this episode with them saying if a star whale comes near the planet, blow it up because they know Ahsoka's on board. The sisters have seen it.
Yeah,
as a future event.
They
know Ahsoka's coming. That's the thing.
They've kind of been telling Thrawn about all these things, haven't they? About
Sabine doesn't know that Ahsoka's coming.
No,
she still thinks she's dead. So that's going to be an interesting conversation with Bridger.
That's it. Yeah, and obviously there's a thing in the episode about Ahsoka trying to come to terms with a decision that Sabine's made, and Hyung kind of says, you know, you kind of think that she's gone against you and she's done it just to get back with Bridger, but it might be a deeper answer than that. There might be more to it.
Essentially, and this is the sort of the last bit we'll talk about, which I said we'd go back to Ahsoka and Hyung on the Ghost. He says that she's not had enough training yet to really deal with that decision properly. Yeah. Whereas Ahsoka had all that training and years of experience, and Sabine hasn't. So he's basically said she's essentially done the best she can with the knowledge she's got.
Yeah.
Which you know, and in a way, Ahsoka's getting counsel from Hyung. He's been around a long time.
Yeah.
We suspect actually a lot longer than we think, and we also suspect he's going to be around for a lot longer. And that's another Rob prediction that we'll come to right at the end in a moment or two. So, Hyun was around at the temple when Ahsoka was a youngling, and he would tell them stories. And he would always start his stories the same way. And this is the first time it's ever been said on television or live action a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, and he starts his story like that, which then makes you think that maybe everything we're seeing on screen from Star Wars is now from his perspective in the future, and he's telling us about it. So he's in the future, and we're learning all this.
Yeah.
So if he carries on doing that, does that mean he's going to survive till 1,000 years in the future, and he's always just going to be talking about it in a different in a different galaxy?
Yeah.
Because we've already jumped to one galaxy, maybe it goes to another. Who knows? It's all like wow.
Maybe.
Or maybe they just chucked that line in because it was a really nice nod to the old letter crawl.
Yeah, you know, we've had droids that have kind of got blown up, haven't they? And protecting their masters and stuff. So we don't know if Hyung might go into something like that. And
he's pretty good though at fighting. And I mean, we've seen him with weapons, but I don't think he's got a lightsaber. But it'd be interesting if at some point, and I'd like it if some point later on he picks a lightsaber up and absolutely goes full Jedi on everybody. That'd be so cool. I mean, he can't wield the Force because he's a droid, but if he was so good, I mean, you look at like Grievous, for example, who was really good with lightsabers. That'd be so cool if Hyung.
I think we'd like to see that. That'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it?
But all in all, fantastic episode. Again, they're batting them out of the park.
Yeah.
And we've got 2 more to go. There was a lot more discussion with Rob about the future of the series, comments that were made at the Star Wars Celebration event in London. We're not going to go into all that now.
Obviously, you've got the new series of Mandalorian as well. Does Ahsoka come into that?
That's part of what I was going to say, but I'm not going to say it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wait and we'll get Rob on for a special retrospective look at Star Wars so far and what's coming next. And we'll do that later on, probably just into next month, I think.
Yeah.
Where we did tease we've got a new project coming up, a new show. So what we'll do is we'll have him on there and we'll talk about that.
Very good idea. I like it.
In the meantime, 2 episodes to go. It's really exciting.
Yeah, it's gone quick.
It's a great time to be a geek, isn't it? Star Trek that's come out, got Star Wars coming out now, got Doctor Who at the end of the year. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to comment as well. Give us your opinions. We do read them, like we say.
We do.
And we'll catch you next time.
See you on the next one.